I call this channel Retirement by Faith because I'm a person of faith. I'm a Christian. But also, I call it Retirement by Faith because it takes a lot of faith to retire. No matter how much preparing or planning you proceed with, life happens, tariffs happen, unexpected expenses happen. And so I thought it would be encouraging for us to share the journey together and talk about some of our ideas and some of the things that we can do to get through what we're going through as we navigate this thing called retirement. The first area where we sometimes incur unexpected expenses is with our teeth, our dental care. You go to the dentist and you find out a few of your teeth have cavities. Well, all right, we got to get it taken care of. But then you find out that one of those teeth actually has two cavities. And so after four cavities are filled, you find out the bill is around $800. And it would have been even more if you didn't have the extra bit of insurance that the dental office offers. You're like, holy man, this is crazy. I had no idea that going to the dentist could be so costly. Or maybe you find out you need a crown and you're crushed to find out how much it costs to get a crown nowadays. Or maybe you need a bridge. And I remember years ago, bridges were $2,000, $2,500, and now they're double that. It's amazing how costly dental costs are. And so these are surprise, unexpected expenses that sometimes hit our retirement budget. Second area is with our vehicles, our cars, our trucks. Maybe you bought tires years ago and they said, oh, these things are good for about 55,000 miles. And you find out after 35,000 miles that your tires don't have any tread anymore. You're like, what in the world's going on? I feel cheated out of 20,000 miles. Well, maybe you didn't get the tires rotated as often as you should have, and the tires wore unevenly. Or maybe you just did a lot of rough riding in winter weather conditions, and whatever the case may be, it's an expense you didn't anticipate. Or maybe there's something else that happens with your car. Or maybe you need a new car earlier than you had anticipated, and you don't quite have all the funds ready. Those are surprises that can happen. A third area where we might experience surprises in finances and retirement is with health care. When you find out that you have extra health expenses that aren't covered by your insurance, or maybe you had an ambulance ride to the hospital and you were surprised to find out that your marketplace health insurance doesn't cover ambulance rides and you got to pay $1,400. Or maybe your deductible is higher than you remembered it being. But those expenses can be surprising and sometimes unexpected and unplanned for. Fourth area where we might experience unexpected expenses is maybe with the audiologist. You find out you need hearing aids, and holy man, my health insurance won't even touch hearing aids. And hearing aids aren't cheap. They're thousands of dollars. Maybe I should just buy a pair of Apple AirPod Pro 3s and turn on the transparency mode or something, because man, oh man, this is expensive. And those things can be very surprising. A fifth area where we might experience unexpected retirement expenses are housing costs. You find out that you have holes in the heat exchanger of your furnace, and now you need a new furnace. Or you find out the Freon is leaking from your air conditioner, you need a new air conditioner. You buy them both together at the same time. That's $9,000 right there. Or maybe you need a new roof. Or maybe you need a new water heater. Or maybe you need something else that your house needs, or an appliance breaks and needs to be replaced. Sometimes we have items that we have in mind that we budget for, and sometimes things happen that we had no idea were going to happen. Okay, the next area where we might experience an unexpected retirement expense is eye care. Have you seen how expensive it is to get a pair of glasses nowadays? I remember years ago I could get a decent pair of glasses for less than $300, but now I'm fortunate to get a pair for less than $600. I think the pair I'm wearing right now, the frames were on sale at 30 or 40% off, and I thought, oh, cool, I'm going to get a good deal. But I still had to pay over $600, and I think it's because I'm blind as a bat. Without these lenses, my eyes aren't so great, and without top of the line lenses, my vision isn't going to be the greatest. So, unexpected expenses. Not that you are surprised that you need glasses or contact lenses, but that you're surprised they cost as much as they do. A year's supply of contact lenses could be over $1,000, and even with a $200 rebate, that's still around $800. So, surprise expenses. Also, maybe emergency trips to see family members. As we get older, the people in our lives get older, and sometimes somebody we love dies unexpectedly, or they're in the hospital, and we don't care about the money, right? We just drop what we're doing and we go see the people that we love. But these are expenses we may or may not have budgeted for that will impact our bottom line. Another area that might impact things is utilities. You say, well, everyone who owns a house is going to have to pay their utilities. How is that a surprise? Well, it is a surprise if your community decided to triple your water bill. I've heard about communities where that happened, and the community wasn't very happy that their water bill had tripled. They get the letters in the mail notifying them of the increase, and starting in the July of the summertime, whatever, they're going to have to pay that higher fee. And, they didn't anticipate that or budget for those extra expenses. So, can you think of other areas of unexpected surprise expenses I may have left out? I just kind of jotted down a bunch of them, but I'm sure I didn't exhaust what they all could be. I guess the question is, how can we prepare for things that we're often not prepared for? How do we handle situations like this? Well, I think it's important that we have an emergency fund, the fund that we can dip into and draw from when expenses like this arise. And you say, well, how could any emergency fund be big enough to handle all the things you just talked about? Well, the good news is that it's unlikely that all these things are going to happen at once. Usually they're spread out over the course of a retirement. A couple of them may happen more than once in retirement, like perhaps needing a new roof, possibly, if your retirement is long. You hope to get 20 years out of a roof. Or you might need tires a couple of times during the course of your retirement. One other thing that we could mention is unexpected healthcare costs like assisted living. You don't expect to get a stroke and have to be in assisted living for a couple of months for rehab. You don't expect the love of your life to have that happen to them and then to be in assisted living. These are tough things. These are challenging things. Here's what I think we need to do. We need to have an emergency fund, a year's expenses if possible. Or we should make sure we have a good retirement game plan. My wife and I, we do a variation of the 3-bucket system. We have one bucket where we have 2 to 3 years of living expenses. We have a second bucket of 7 to 8 years of living expenses, and we can always dip into that second bucket if we have a big unexpected expense. And then the third bucket is our investments, our total stock market ETFs, and that we can leave untouched. And in the years where it does really, really well, we can take some of that and replenish the bucket that had the emergency money. So something like that will help you to prepare. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Retirement by Faith. You guys have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.